Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Gibson Show. And today I am joined from Shuttle from Astralis. Shuttle, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me on. Happy to
No,
be here.
it's good to have you. You know, the viewers might know, but you and I met once before in Charlotte, and we had a good night. That was a good night. We'll not talk about it too much, but it was fun. I got to meet you. I got to obviously meet Forrest and your coach as well, Callout. So it was a pretty good time out there. But as always, you're going to be the star of the show today, and there's a small matter of a six invitational coming up in just over a week's time. How are you guys feeling? You feeling confident and ready to go?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling confident at this event. I think like with anything like we've been like for the last like since we didn't make the last major,
Mhm.
since we made a roster change, we have like a lot of time to practice, change a lot of stuff, just like re like invent ourselves, I guess,
Mhm.
as a team. So feeling really good going into this event. If
Yeah.
we can just just get everything get going, I guess get going hot, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, start as you mean to go on, because I think when it comes to six invitational too, you want to give yourself the best possible start so that whenever you get to the playoffs that you're not in the wrong side of the bracket when it comes to there as well. So I think everyone's looking forward to it. I know that you guys picked up a lot of fans in Europe with how you performed in Charlotte. You know, first major with a crowd again in a long time, and a lot of people enjoyed the style of play that you guys brought. So before we talk about Six Invitational and Astralis a little bit more, I want to get to know you a little better. So obviously you've been playing competitive Siege now for what, 6, 7 years, and I just kind of want to know how you got into competitive Siege in the first place.
Oh yeah, I kind of got into Siege just by like that you like that E3 trailer, I think it was, with like the hot house and
Hmm.
that whole video. Like that, like once I saw that video, I wanted to like that was I think it was like a year or two before the game still came out. Like I
Hmm.
knew I was gonna play it the second it came out. So it was just like the beta came around, I played that. Game came out, I played that. I stopped playing like every other game I played.
Hmm.
It just like I just grinded it on because I started on PS4. So I was grinding it on PS4 for like probably about 8 months or so,
Hmm.
and just playing ranked basically. And then I realized that there was a comp scene. It was on like on Xbox, so I got
Hmm.
an Xbox. But at the time I was 17, so I wasn't old enough to play. But I still tried to play just scrims just to do
Hmm.
it, because I would be able to sub and stuff, so I'd do that. And then I think when I turned it was after the first invite where they canceled Xbox, and then I switched to PC. I still wasn't 18 yet. I turned
Hmm.
18 in June, and that's when that was right when I signed with Elevate. I signed with them like the first day, or the first match was like the day after my birthday.
Hmm.
The first match I played, so I did that, and then yeah, I kind of just grinded on PC. I didn't really play anything. I just kind of like everyone just knew who I was. So Elevate, like I knew everyone from Elevate from Xbox. So they just asked me if I wanted to join. I didn't really. It's kind of just one of those if you just know a friend
Hmm.
type of thing. It's kind of how I got started.
And you look back at that Elevate roster that you had on PC at the start, and it's got, including you, four of the biggest names that have ever gone on to play Siege in the whole world. You know, you got Geo, who's obviously playing with Sonics now in that fantastic project. You had obviously Laxing in there too, who I had on the last episode of the show, and you had Skies. So it was a really big roster full of big names. What do you think kind of drew all of you guys to start off kind of in that team?
I think like for us, it was like I think specifically like I know Lax and Skies like they just like Black Skies England and Geo
Hmm.
because they were on a team on Xbox together before I joined. Like, um, it was just at the time like they were just the best on
Hmm.
Xbox. Really, to be honest, like there was just nobody better than them. And then like, and then obviously there's like individual players that like were up to their part, and like I was one of them. So like,
Hmm.
and then it was like when I switched to PC, it was still this. It was we kind of just kept that relationship of wanted to be like competitive. We they wanted to be competitive, and
Hmm.
like we like from Xbox, like we had a good relationship and a good sense of like how how we wanted to play the game at the time. Obviously, I changed over the evolution of the team, but like when we first started, like we had a really good sense of how we wanted to play the game and how like the game should be played.
Yeah, and it goes to show that you have changed your style of play over time because you've managed to stay relevant all this time on, which I think most of you guys have actually done a fantastic job of. But shortly after that, there was a roster change, and then, or not a roster change, but Elevate's, you got picked up a different roster, you guys moved on, and then eventually you ended on Rogue. So how did the move to that Rogue roster come around? Because you guys have some pretty good success. What, you got second in one DreamHack and you won another?
Oh yeah, and then so when was it? Okay, so it was it was Elevate, SSG. No one ever remembers SSG because that was a very short time. But SSG, and then I forget one day. This was like during like this is like after the Paris major. I'm just I think relaxing, waiting for like. And I forget who asked me, but somebody asked me to join Rogue. I forget which player, but they asked me, and at the time, like I really liked SSG. Like I said it. I forget who I said it to, but I said it to someone at the time. Like I think they were. I thought they were 2 stages away from what they eventually ended up becoming, but like I thought they were kind of far away, not far away from it, like a little far away, but I thought like they had the potential that they had or that they've shown. And I mostly didn't want to. I mostly joined Rogue. I wanted to join Rogue mostly because I had a good relationship with Easily, and I also knew that Vertical wanted to join when his contract was up with Rise. I think it was Rise. I can't remember who it was, but so I knew that was gonna happen. So I really wanted to join Rogue based off of that. So that was like my main. Those like probably my main reasons for wanting to join the roster. And also like I always thought like Tyler Eclipse was one of the. I still think he's one of the best players I've ever like seen individually.
And then obviously you came second in your first DreamHack, and some people take final losses very differently. Some people, it motivates them to be even better. Some people, when they lose a final, they're kind of like, yeah, maybe we'll get the next one. But you guys just drove on after that point because you had some success domestically, but then the very next DreamHack came around and you managed to improve your place to first. What was it like to kind of get your first major bit of silverware inside of Siege with that one in DreamHack?
It was pretty like surreal, to be honest, because the way I just didn't think the way Valencia started, it wasn't a bad start, but it was an interesting start to the event. But I would say it was like it's like getting something off my back, I guess. Like it felt like I actually like finally reached something, because like the first time, because I got second place at because I also got second place in my first LAN against Penta, so it was kind of like just finally like not getting second place, not almost being the best, like actually being the best for some points. So like I would say like it was a really nice experience to have, and like really well, hopefully I can do that, recreate that.
And with that being in Valencia too, you were what, 18, 19 years old at the time. Was that kind of your first proper time traveling outside of the US to compete in like a big event? And if it was, what was it like? Like, do you remember much about the excitement building up to the event?
Yeah, it was one of the first times, because I think the only other time was Rio before that. Because yeah, so yeah, that was like one of my that was like my third time going. So yeah, it was Valencia was one of my favorite places to visit, and I also liked because like before the event, like we had like 2 days where like we kind of just did like team things, like we went around, went to the beach, like we kind of just like did team bonding things, so like stuff like that. So it was like it's a really nice like way to like start the event, I guess, as a team.
Well, it paid off. You guys went ahead and won the whole thing, and at that point then I guess it was a kickstart for, I think, the real version of you that we got to see over the coming time. you ended up making that move to, I think it was Disrupt at the time, and shortly after that, and then you guys got picked up by Astralis. So when you got onto Disrupt and you started playing with some of the guys that you're playing with now, did you kind of know straight away that this was a team that you wanted to be on? Like, did the personalities mesh really well, or was there that kind of adjustment period of getting used to the new teammates and kind of working out how everyone was?
It could be a little bit. I say it's a little bit mix of everything. Like, I think I definitely think in terms of like people wanting to like. I definitely never had a problem with like any, because obviously there's been like variations of this team, a lot of variation. But like I think like no matter the player, I think every player that's come in as like wanted to win has like came in with the intention of like getting better. So I've really enjoyed every relationship that I've like built with every like teammate I had. Like even though like even though I never got to play a game with him, even like Yardy, I never got to play even a game with him, but like even the scrim time I had with him, like I enjoyed him as a teammate. And so like just all the getting to like it's like it's nice because like before this, like I just had pretty much the same teams with like one person changing over the years, so it was like a nice change of like you get to see a lot of like different variety and see just like that's like the story of the Forrest like before I met him, like I thought I'm yeah, I told him this. I thought he was an idiot because this one time like the club game against, I think they were playing SSG, he goes in Logi and he's the site's basement, he's sitting in a cave. And he told me like after the tryout, he told me that it was the coach that told him to do that. So like it completely like flipped my narrative like of what I thought of him as a player, because like it made me realize like that was not his decision. Like he understood like the like how bad that was, but like that was not his choice. So like it gives you like a new perspective on people. It's nice.
So this is kind of the question that I want to ask, and it's not one that I've asked anyone else, but as a player, you know, coaches are going to ask you to take on certain roles, to do certain things that maybe you're not that comfortable with. Has there been any moment in your career where a coach has kind of moved you to a role that maybe you at the time thought, I'm not quite sure about it, but by playing that role then and listening to the coach, you found that, hey, yeah, I can actually do this pretty well?
Um, yeah, I think Callout kind of did it with just like how we have it right now, because like we have roles, but they're very as like you can see in the play style, it's very loose definition of roles. So like it like gives you, because it literally gives me the freedom for one round I can be the hard breach. One round I like even like everyone on this team has the capability to like be the IGL. Like if they have a plan and like they see it, they can call it. Like it's kind of like how we do it. And so like it's like I would say like that, because like at first it's hard to like, you're not used to like having that much like control, I guess, or like that much decision making to like be made. So it's like a adjustment period to like get used to that much. But like I think like when it's going really well, like I think like the peak of it is like Charlotte, like essentially, like I think that's like the peak of like individual decision making in tandem with like them, like you mixing in team play with that. And so I think that's been like the biggest thing that like I didn't think it wasn't gonna work, but like it was like a very big adjustment for me.
Yeah. Well, look, Callout's a pretty good coach. We got to give him that. I think the time that I spent with him and talking to him over the course of the last year, I think he's a very genuine guy as well. So, one thing about Callout, he's the one coach in all of Siege who dresses as if he's actually working whenever he goes to events. But what's it actually like working with him on a day-to-day basis? Because, like I said, any interaction I've had with him, I've really enjoyed it because he seems like such a down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, and calls like really like he likes to keep it, like he tries to keep it fun, loose, like really tries to like he's always trying to like be like the main like hype man, I guess you could say, kind of like he's a coach, but like he also tries to like keep the energy up, like keep everyone energized, like happy, like talking, things like that. So like, even like during practice, like he does it, he's the same way. So like yeah, he's I say like yeah, he's just like a really like you said like a really down to earth guy and like a really nice guy to have a really nice coach to have like as a coach because he's really like a really balanced and I think fair coach.
And as I said, he always dresses for the occasion too, which is something
Mm.
we like to see, and hopefully we get to see him on stage in Montreal in a couple of in a week in a bit. So obviously it'll be the Friday when the audience gets out there. So next topic I want to talk about then is on your time with Astralis. I've always been, I've always watched NAL. I've always been impressed by how you guys played. But the first time that we really got an idea of how good you could be, to me, was Charlotte. You went to that major, you just played incredibly well, and you made it all the way to the final against DZ. And you ended up just maybe getting a little bit unlucky in the final. It was one of those ones where Canadian obviously got the extra major, which really elevated him into the conversation for the greatest player of all time. But what was it like playing in that final in Charlotte whenever you finally got the crowds back at a game?
It was probably I'd say it's definitely I would say it's probably the second or the first in terms of like crowd like environment like in terms of like how the crowd got into it especially after what's it called Oregon
Mm-hmm.
when we would have made 2-2 to go to a fifth map. I thought like the crowd was surreal to be honest. Like I thought that was like one of the best moments like I've ever like experienced. I felt like both teams were kind of just like we're playing the game doing
Mm-hmm.
strats, but I felt like both teams were kind of also like riding the crowd
Mm-hmm.
in a way in terms of momentum.
Yeah, well, definitely iconic and Canadian whenever they get into it with the crowds. They really do. But the one thing that stands to me about that final was like big individual plays. Like you came up with a couple of huge plays. Forrest had some big plays in the final, and obviously Iconic had that play inside of Basement in Oregon, where a lot of people actually call that spot iconic now. Could you guys hear the crowd through the headset and the mic whenever he popped off from that corner and won the round?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, you could like I can't remember exactly when it was, but you could you could hear it because like obviously I could see what Dave was. I'm pretty sure I was dead. I might have been dead or
Mm-hmm.
um. So I was literally I could see what Dave was doing. So like you can kind of like hear what the crowd is like getting like excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely can hear them.
So after that fire, last question about that final maybe would be: do you have any regrets from that final? Because obviously you got there and you were so close. Do you have any regrets, or are you kind of just in that mindset of the game was played, we lost, we got to focus on the next?
Um, yeah, I don't really, I personally don't really have any regrets. I would say like, if like you were to like have regrets, like the regret would be like losing border.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the map for us. Like we win border, like we don't have to play bank.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a big one. But like, yeah, I don't really overall have any regrets over it.
So then, after the major, both you guys and DZ had a bit of a downturn in your fortunes. I know you guys actually qualified for Berlin, but didn't make it out of the groups. Why do you think things didn't go the way they planned after Charlotte? Like, do you think that it was was it just your play, you didn't adapt to kind of the new meta whenever it updated? Like, in your own words, why do you think things didn't go as well over the next few stages?
I think overall, I think it's a mix of like teams. I think teams evolving to like the play style we were kind of introduced in it, and also like in like mixing it to like their own play a little bit, and also just like teams evolving in general and just like getting better, meta changing, and I also think like it's not that we didn't change. I guess it's like we changed and didn't change the right way. I guess didn't adapt to the meta in the right way. So I think like this like not making the major, being able to have like all this time to get ready for the six invitational. I think like that's given us a good time to like actually like I guess find our identity in the meta that it's currently in,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to like like I said earlier, like reinventing ourselves.
And then you made a change late in the year. Obviously, the decision was made to take DP Fire out of the active roster. Was that a tough decision to make as a team or was it something that maybe Callout had thought about doing? Like that decision, it's never easy, I guess, when you're looking to make a change and move someone out when it's someone you've probably become friends with.
Yeah, no, that was probably one of my hardest hardest decisions
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever like made on a team, because just because I I guess like how soon
Mm-hmm.
ago we were just like at our peak or like at our potential. And so I guess yeah, it definitely was like it was probably like the hardest dropping a teammate, just because like I know DP's like potential, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew like even now still like we could have like gotten back to that potential, obviously for reasons didn't work out that way, but yeah.
Yeah, but look, I think that's the scary thing about esports as well, is how easily roster changes can be made. You just look at the free agent market right now. There's some incredible players that aren't going to be playing, and there's very few spots going in the tier one scene anymore. So let's talk about the fun stuff. Obviously, Six Invitational is coming up. It's just a week away. You guys have been practicing hard, getting ready to go. I think when you're in full flow, Astralis are one of the funnest teams to watch because you feed off each other's energy. You get involved. You're really exciting to watch. And when you look at the group that you're being put into, and I'm just going to read it out for anyone watching. You're obviously playing with CAG, who are the most ridiculous team in the world of Siege. Like, I don't know how you prep for playing them, if I'm being honest. You've got Los One, who qualified through the LATAM Last Chance qualifiers. OXG, who made a roster change of their own last year. Obviously, Laxing has gone out, and they brought in Sweater. And then the current major champions in BDS. So first off, which of those teams are you most excited to go head to head with?
um BDS,
Mm-hmm.
just because really enjoyed the two group stages games we had,
Mm-hmm.
and Charlotte. That was really like because first game, like we were like obviously nobody on the stream could really hear, but like we were talking shit the whole like first game.
Uh-huh.
The whole second game, they smoke us back. They were talking shit the whole second game, so it was a nice like ending. Like I guess like it's gonna be a nice like a I guess an add on, especially with this being a best of three.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a nice someone could actually like win. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be a tie anymore. So I'd say BDS.
Mm-hmm. I'd say if you guys go on to win SI, you probably have to play BBDS twice. They're looking pretty good right now. What are your thoughts on CAG though? Because obviously you've got Anatun on that team who just terrifies people when he plays Monty. It kind of throws a lot of defenses. Are you excited about playing CAG, or is it a bit more like, right, we can't get drawn into their game. We have to play our game and force them to play it?
Yeah, you gotta like, I guess you gotta like respect them because like they're definitely like you said, like even though like they're definitely one of the weirdest teams, like they're weird, but like it works. Like
Mm-hmm.
what they do, like what they do works, and like it's effective. So like you gotta be like you gotta change the way you play a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
like you just wouldn't play that way against any other team. So, but yeah, so I think like you just gotta change the way you play slightly to like adjust to it. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that.
Mm-hmm.
To see the matchup, him and Forrest, just because Forrest himself is, I personally think the best Monte player. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Oh,
excited.
hopefully we get to see both of them at it in that game. Look, Forrest knows I love his style of play too. There was like, I think when he was playing Mutant Smoke in Charlotte, he popped off a couple of times with the SMG, and then finally you got the NA game. You're playing OXG. You guys excited to beat or to try to beat another NA team on a global stage again?
Yeah, we're excited to play OXG. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just because we haven't beat Oh, we've lost them like each of the like stage games, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, and then like we beat them at Charlotte. But like yeah, so we're excited to also like do that just because like even though we beat them at Charlotte, we still haven't like
Mm-hmm.
we've lost like the last few times. So looking to like turn that around this event,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think looking at groups though, there's a couple of matchups that I really like in Group C. Like there's other groups that maybe
Mm,
you don't want to be in Group B because there's a good team going home in Group B. It's as simple as that. That's obviously got
yeah.
Dire Wolves, M&M, Sonics, Liquid, and Wolves. But overall, it's going to be fun. But I think What's the weather like in Vegas? Because there's going to be a bit of a change when you make that flight up towards Canada, right?
Yeah, I heard it like it's gonna be like basically in the negatives the whole time in
Uh-huh.
Montreal, I think. And like right now, Vegas, what it's like, it's usually like 40, 50. So yeah, it's a big difference. It's gonna be a nice change of scenery. But I like the cold personally.
Mhm.
I love,
And here's the one then. So it's the first SI with a crowd in a long time, way before COVID. You guys probably picturing being on the stage on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with that huge crowd, because I have a feeling it's going to turn up in numbers. What would it mean to you to get to the stage and have that massive crowd cheering you guys on all the way through the playoffs?
I mean, that'd mean everything. It's like that's like the for us, like that's like the expectation, just because like we have we've like put in so much work, and I think like for me, like it would personally for me, it would just like it'd be nice to also because like I know like some of my family's gonna be there, so like with them in the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
like it's gonna be like knowing that like that'd be like probably like the best experience of my
Mm-hmm.
life. So
Well, I'll definitely want to see you guys make the Friday anyway, that's for sure. So here's where I want to maybe get to know you a bit better. We've spoken a lot about the teams, we spoke a lot about your career, but I want to kind of know in your own words, what do you bring to Astralis that nobody else could?
and in my own words, I would say just I guess like not a I guess I'm not a IG because I wouldn't say I'm definitely not a IGO,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm more of like I guess like a level-headed type of
Mm-hmm.
guy, like a guy who's always like I'm pretty detached guy. I'm always like never I'm not in the moment really, so like I kind of can
Mm-hmm.
always like that can be a downside for me, but that also can be like a positive, like just seeing like other teammates, seeing my teammates settling, or like seeing some players like focusing on something, or like just being able to like see things other people can't, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and also just and then like I would say like just like individually like just being able to like make team plays
Mm-hmm.
like with my teammates, like I say like that's probably one of my best attributes as a teammate.
I think your personality works well on Astralis because obviously Iconic's a guy who likes to get up and excited, and I'm sure you being able to just say, let's bring it back down a tad. Sometimes definitely comes in and helps. And whenever I think of the time I met you, I was talking to you in the bar, and my first memory was just Forrest coming over, not a clue who I was, didn't know who I was at all, and points at you and goes, "See him? He's that guy. He is that guy." So
I remember
so
that.
Shuttle, are you still that guy?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I plan to show that invite this year. So
So obviously, being a pro player, you've had the chance to live in Vegas for a few years. What's it actually like for you when you're not gaming? Living out there, living with people like that who keep the vibes high all the time. Like when you're not gaming, what do you get up to, and how do you keep yourself either focused or relaxed?
for me,
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is I personally like I actually wanted to move here before I just because so happened that like everything with Siege
Mm-hmm.
just came here, but I wanted to move here anyway. I just like because I was really interested and living here just because I like because I really like the because like the strips like party you want to have like a
Mm-hmm.
nice you want to go party you want to have like I guess like a lot of people you go there and then like the rest of it is just like a big suburb.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nice. Like it's like just casual, not a lot of traffic. I really like it here to be honest. It's like not like besides the summer, like the 2 months of the summer where it's really hot,
Mm-hmm.
like it's basically pretty average weather the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I most of the time I just personally me, I just work out. I work out really I don't go out that much really and I kind of just work out. I spend a lot of time with my dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would usually just read or something. I really don't go out that much. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
just an in-house type of guy.
And is there anything competitive in your house? Because I spoke to the SSG guys, and they're pretty competitive about table tennis, a bit of ping pong, and their team house. Is there anything you guys do that you get really competitive about?
Um, yeah, I guess there's a couple things. Like I'd say I guess like anything to do with lifting weights, I'd
Hmm.
probably say.
Yeah.
Anything with lifting that, yeah. Yeah,
See,
got like meatheads live here.
hmm my casting duo Whippet, he lifts all the time. He's like, yeah, I just broke my PB, and I'm like, yep, I'm going to the gym, but I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try beat it yet. I've got little.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm,
This morning they literally just had a power meet this morning.
could you imagine if one of them hurt themselves doing that before SI? It'd be typical. But then I want to talk about your teammates and stuff too. So obviously you've had the chance to play with people who have had incredible careers so far. Who's been like the most fun or your favorite teammate that you've had individually over your time in Siege?
My favorite. My favorite's probably Chap or England, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd probably say Chap or England. Just 'cause, like those two, I think both in different ways. Those two are just the funniest two people I've ever been around.
Yeah.
Like they just always like they just know how to make people laugh. In my opinion, like those two are the funniest people I've ever met.
Mm-hmm. And are there any players out there that you love playing against? The way, and it can be because you find it challenging. It could be because you have them in your back pocket. That maybe there's a player that you think, yeah, every time I play against his team or him, it's easy. Anyone come to mind when I ask you that one?
Um, Funny enough, I'd actually say Shaiko.
Yeah.
Just happen to be BDS. Yeah, I like playing them.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. And then I'd probably say Paulo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty
For
cool.
some reason, because for some reason, my teammates really think we look alike for some reason. I don't see it, but
We'll let the community decide that one. So you're getting ready to go. I think you were saying you travel in like a day or two. There's a big Astralis family out there. There's a lot of fans that are looking forward to seeing you guys play. Anything you want to say to all the fans?
yeah, just thank you guys for like supporting us, and like we hope we can make it out of groups, and so we can see you guys this like 2 weeks time,
Mhm.
2 weekends, something
Mhm.
like that. And we just hope to put on a good show for you guys, and hope we can do something that you guys are proud of.
Mhm. Well, look, Shuttle, I think we're getting coming to kind of the end of the interview, but I got to see you guys play on stage once. I definitely want to see it happen again. I'm going to Montreal myself, so it'd be cool to see you guys do your things. But I think that's going to bring us to the end of the interview. So if anyone at home hasn't already, please give Shuttle a follow on his socials to keep up to date with what he's doing. And if you haven't already as well, give Astralis a follow. But thank you all for watching. Shuttle, thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.